Hello, welcome to this wonderful presentation. I'm Dr. Renae Schumann. I'm the Dean of the School of Nursing and Allied Health at Houston Baptist University, and it's my pleasure today to talk about measuring outcomes. When we're measuring outcomes, it's important to look at some of the questions that I'm asking here. What is the most important thing to look at with the mentoring program? What influences the mentorship? Who makes decisions about the program goals and outcomes? What is the end goal of the mentoring program? So in short, who is it important to please here? Is it the university administration that's most important to please? Is it the provost? Is it the financial aid office or the accounting office? Is it the group of people who funds the different degrees, who says whether or not a degree is money-making and can run? Is it the School of Nursing faculty? Is it the funders, the private donors to the university who have a say in this? Do the students have input to it, and do they care as far as your mentoring program? Does the enrollment management office care about it? How about the recruitment office or the accreditors or your board of nursing? I'm going to advance the idea that all of these people care. They may not want to see all the details of your mentoring program and how you have it laid out and who's doing what, but I think the outcomes will be important to everybody. And so it's a good idea to have it set up in a way that you can measure the process and measure the outcomes, as we'll talk about a little bit later. When you're selecting metrics or the ways to measure your program, it's important, again, to know what outcomes are being measured and what is the best measurement of each outcome. So are you looking at the demographics only? I think there's more to it than just the demographics. Are you looking at student retention? And if so, you would look at retention of those being mentored versus those not being mentored. Are you looking at program satisfaction? By program, I mean not just the mentoring program, but the nursing program, because they will be related. Are you looking at your in-program measures? There are several models of mentoring. As was mentioned earlier in this conference, there's faculty-student programs where the faculty is the mentor to the student. Probably will require an application process so that the right match between mentor and mentee can be made by whoever's in charge of that match. There are professional and student mentoring programs, professional being a registered nurse in this case, and the student being a nursing student. They could be matched according to students' career plans or goals, or type of school that they're in. They could be matched demographically. And I think that's one of the things that we're promoting for this particular conference, so that the student can have a mentor who looks like herself or himself and has some of the same cultural influences. And then we can have student-to-student mentoring programs, which are not quite as formal, though if they go through a nursing student association or some other organization, they could also require applications and a match by another person. You just have to know what you're hoping to achieve and what you're hoping to gain so that you'll know how to measure it. Are the course objectives? Is your program attached to a particular course, like maybe students, students in the beginning, a fundamentals course or a core competencies course, however you're set up, being matched with faculty or professionals who also prefer to work with a student who's just learning, or students who are in your nurse administration or leadership courses or in capstone course, being matched with another student who's in the beginning, or with a faculty who just works with leadership, or possibly a nurse hospital administrator. So it's important to know which objectives are going to be met from which course. Are the test scores going to be used as metrics for this? And I don't mean just the NCLEX, that is very important, but what about standardized tests within a program? Like standardized tests from HESI or ATI or some other group like that if you have those. All of these things are important measures when you have a mentoring program that could be influenced by those measures and also influence those measures. We talk about evaluation in terms of formative evaluation and summative evaluation. Formative evaluation are those measures collected during the process. The program is ongoing. We're in the process of running the program. And therefore, all of the data collected are process data, data that reflect how the program is working. Is it working well? Are there things that are causing bottlenecks or stop-outs during the process that prevent achievement of the end goal? Those measures are important to have so that you can see what needs to be corrected so that you can reach your goal. Summative evaluation are those measures at the completion of the project. Did the project actually meet its goal? Were there anything that went wrong during the process that kept it from meeting its goal so you couldn't measure an outcome? These are all really important to have, and we'll have more detail about those in just a few minutes. But why do these matter in program planning? Can process inform outcome? Well, yes, it can. Formative evaluation can certainly inform the outcome, especially if there's something in the process that prevents achieving the outcome. It certainly is a good way to inform it. So can outcome inform process? Well, likewise, if they can't reach the outcome because the process has a stop out or a bottleneck in it, then certainly there's some information sharing to go back and forth there. If the process of your mentorship program has a gap in it or something that could be corrected, don't forget there's probably someone else available to help you. It's not unusual for nursing faculty or someone working in the nursing school to feel like, because everyone is so busy, that they may be alone in this effort. And please don't feel that way. There's most likely some student service somewhere, or another faculty person, or academic partner somewhere, someone in a hospital, maybe one of the donors who's very interested in mentoring nursing students, but you just may not know about them yet. So always keep the feelers out, or find out if someone in the advancement office of your school or someone in student services or other faculty members have a contact that might be able to help with the process part of it. They're also going to be interested in the outcomes if they're helping with it. And so let them know, please, how well they're helping you achieve the outcomes, and do let them know what those outcomes are. And we'll talk about some of the outcomes measures in just a minute. We have more detail here about process versus outcome measures. So process measures, I first have to ask, this is so important, and I should have put it on the slide, but let's just get it out in the open right now. Does this program have a budget? It may or may not have a budget. If it has a budget, that means someone put money in it from somewhere and they want to know what's happening. So if it's a funded project, it absolutely is. Will need to have measurable outcomes, proven effective outcomes. And so that may, if you don't have a budget for it, it may not have that level of stress or intensity to it, but it certainly will be an important factor if there's a budget involved in it. So let's look at some of the measures for process, some of the things that will impact the way the program runs. The mentor preparation. So it depends on the model you're using. If you have a faculty-student model, is your faculty mentor, how are they prepared in order to be able to manage the mentoring of a nursing student? Have they just got the basic education required to serve as a faculty? That depends on the state you're in, whether they need to have a doctorate or whether they can be in a program with a master's degree. A lot of it's going to depend on that. And whatever experience they've had as a mentor before, and whatever experience they've had being mentored. During the evidence section of this conference, we talked about how effective mentoring can lead to effective mentoring. If they were mentored effectively, they can also learn to be effective mentors. And so mentor preparation is one of the measures to manage, to analyze when you're looking at the effectiveness of your program. The demographic match, if we're putting a specific demographics together, measure that match to see if it's had made a difference in your outcomes and the way the process is running and in the outcomes. And it's important these days, just like it is anytime, nursing students who feel isolated, like often Hispanic nursing students may feel isolated because of that being in between two cultures, as was said earlier, you know, being from their demographic culture and being in a culture that is nursing school. And sometimes they don't exactly match, and it's difficult for the students and they can feel isolated. So having a demographic match, someone who they feel that they can relate to on a cultural, more personal level, is going to be an important part of the process when you're measuring that. The mentee retention rate versus non-mentee retention rate. So if a student had a mentor, did they have a better retention rate? Did they stay in the program, complete the program better than those who were not mentored, if they have an option of not being mentored? So absolutely, that's going to be a measure that's worth sharing with everybody, especially if it's a funded program. And another one that's so important, the number of contacts between mentor and mentee is vitally important. I mean, it's one thing to say, sure, I'm a mentor, and put it on your CV. And it's another thing to say, I'm a mentor, and as a mentor, I did this, and this, and these were the results of the interactions and the relationship. The mentor has been defined as a relationship model, right? It's something, it can't just be a text message one and done. It's something that has a relationship component to it. So the contacts between the mentor and the mentee are very important when you're looking at process measures. Outcome measures will certainly include increased retention or program completion. And hopefully there will be an increase in NCLEX pass rate. It's already been determined that students of this demographic, Hispanic student demographic, may not have the same rate of NCLEX pass as other students because of other things occurring in life and cultural issues and things like that. So if your mentorship program can influence and increase NCLEX pass rate among this demographic, then that is a win for everybody. Another measure that's going to be important is job placement. Even though it's not on the slide, I will say that these three, increased retention and program completion, increased NCLEX pass rate, and job placement rate are the three big ones that the accreditors want posted on the school's website. And also the Department of Education likes this posted on the school's website, any program that's accredited. These are things that are important to know. So since you know that as part of your accreditation process, these are already going to be outcomes that need to be measured, include these into your outcomes of your mentoring program. It's going to be so good to know these things and to show this as true evidence that your mentoring program is working. One other measure that may show up is mentee graduates becoming mentors. It's my pleasure and my privilege, in fact, to say that some of our graduates at HBU have actually set up a program like this where they mentor HBU students. It went through all of HBU's approval processes, and it came out on the other side in a good way. And our graduates, our working RNs from our school, are now mentoring some of our students. And it's a wonderful thing. It helps the students get more confidence. It helps them become better nurses. It helps them become better thinkers because they have someone to show them how to do these things. And it's also very, very good when you're talking about outcomes. And you can show that a mentee, I can tell you, the alumni offices like that so much because a graduate who's taken an interest in the students of that school are also very likely to be active in other alumni areas. I won't say right off the bat giving money is the most important, but you know, the alumni offices may like to think that they can use that, and it often will be the case that way. So when you're looking at your outcomes to evaluate, again, and I keep saying this, it's important to think about who really is going to care the most about your program besides you. And all those people I mentioned earlier, you know, from the provost office to the university president, the students, the funders, the alumni associations, all the academic people, everyone will be very interested in how this turns out. So if it is a funded program, good for you. And if it's a funded program, all of your outcomes are going to have implications for continued funding or increased funding or any other changes to your budget or to the School of Nursing's overall budget. Also, don't forget that dissemination of any of your outcomes will be highly important. So if you can be sure to disseminate it to all the people who care, all those people that I mentioned before, not just the students. All the students are going to be very impressed with it, but the alumni, the students' parents, the administrative offices at the university, all the School of Nursing faculty, any fundraising partnerships that you have with the donors. I'll bet you the hospitals and other clinical facilities in your area will also be very interested in this, because if they have people who are involved in the projects, it makes them look good. And it also helps recruit new nurses for their agencies as well. So everybody will care. Everybody will be very interested in the outcomes. And so it's important to make sure that we get them and we're clear about what has happened. And if there's anything to improve, what needs to improve with it. When you're filling out accreditation forms every year, annual reports for your board, there may be a section in there that says, tell me about this outcome and tell me about what you found out about that to improve it in the future. So everyone wants to know what you're doing with data to help your program be better. Don't forget about that. That's so important. Having a better program can only improve, it's only good for everybody. It can only improve things. And review again, qualitative versus quantitative. We don't want to overlook the importance of qualitative measures. People love stories. Funders, private donors, they love stories, especially if it's someone who's giving scholarships to the school. They love to see how their scholarship money has improved a student's life. And so if you have stories from your mentorship programs that can impact the donors, they absolutely need to know about it. Be sure to collect as much qualitative data as you can, whether you're sending a survey through the nursing student organization or you're sending surveys through to the mentors, the professional mentors or faculty mentors or student mentors. Make sure that you collect as many comments as you can, especially the good ones. When you write this up to have it published, those exemplars are going to be important to show what the students, especially the mentored students, really feel about it. You get so many improvement data from the qualitative measures. That's why most of the schools these days, on the evaluations that they have for students of faculty, they have a qualitative and a quantitative piece. Anytime you get a comment regarding the impact of the mentor relationship, it's good to take note of it, to store it wherever you keep those important things like that, and be able to use it when you're trying to get further funding or when you're asking for additional scholarships or you're recruiting a new donor. All of these things are so important and so valuable because they're real life. And we know real life impacts everybody, and we know stories impact. And so don't forget about these measures. Quantitative measures will certainly include the demographics, especially if you're doing a demographic match, which is important for this population. The number of mentoring meetings versus the graduation rates. What I mean is, did a student who wasn't able to complete the program but was with a mentor, was there a lot of contact with the mentor? Was there actually a relationship? Sometimes the students, as we've seen in some of the evidence that's been presented earlier in this conference, the students, when they feel connected to a mentor, they can feel connection with the university itself and with the program. Therefore, the number of contacts between the mentor and the completion rate of the student might be an important measure to look at. Was it something that did they need to have more meetings? Did they need to have fewer meetings? Did they have to have any meetings? Were there no meetings at all? Was there no contact between the mentor and the student who left? So it's important, really important to know that. Did a mentee, a student mentee, had the same program completion rate as students who weren't mentored? So in that case, was there a difference? Did it have a huge impact on completion rate? Is there an impact on NCLEX pass rates? Let's say that you've had a really great year and 100%, good for you, keep it up. But that's not always the case. There could be some cases where someone is having a bad day and they didn't pass a test, or maybe you were worried about them when they graduated. They're flipping their tassel at commencement and you're worried about whether or not they're going to pass because they had so much trouble in school. It'll be important to see if that student who was unsuccessful in NCLEX, if they were mentored, did they take full advantage of the mentoring relationship? And if there was anything that their mentor could share to see if there's something that could improve with another student in the same circumstance. Also, job placement. I did say that under the big three, job placement is important because job placement will be another indicator that there's been a relationship possibility. And maybe the job placement came from a mentor. Maybe it came from a professional mentor. Maybe it came as part of their final capstone course or whatever. But it's important to know if the students in the job, if they were mentored or not, to see if it had anything to do, if their mentoring program had anything to do with their job placement. It's so important for each type of data. Every single thing you get is important to have. It's important to see the data to see if any of the programs should change. As I mentioned earlier, is there anything, especially with your process data, that you need to change in order to improve your program outcomes? All these things are just vitally important. Don't forget any of it. How do you know that the program you're developing will fit with the school? How do you know it's going to fit your circumstances? I mean, how do you know that whatever you're going to do will be a right fit for your school? Well, there's a couple of good ways to start off to know that. Look at the school, the mission and vision of your School of Nursing and of the parent institution, and make sure that they match. Now, that's an accreditation issue also. They need to match. But once you see what the mission is of the school and the vision is of the school, then you can start to see where your mentoring program will fit into that. The institution should already have some resources. Maybe they have a student services center. Maybe they have existing programs. Perhaps they have a TRIO program. Perhaps they have a student advising or student tutoring centers. Investigate those, see what already exists at your school, and see if there's anything that you can do to get your mentorship program to piggyback into that, especially if you don't have a budget. Some of the things that you may want to do might require some money or some funds. If you don't have them, then it's a good idea to check to see if there's something on campus already that fits into that. Also check to see what sort of stakeholder support is available for your program. Stakeholders, there are so many. Fundraising arms of the school might be good. They're called developmental councils. I have one at Houston Baptist. We have a Dean's Developmental Council here who supports the mentoring program that our graduates came up with. It's really a wonderful program to have in place. The donors, so the people who want to fund scholarships for only nursing students, they may have some other resources that they can provide for you. Check to see if you need a meeting site beyond a classroom. See what's available, especially these days. See how safe some of the meeting spots are, especially if you're going to meet in person. Some of the schools are frowning on, I'll put it that way, having face-to-face meetings in faculty offices, because especially if they're not big enough for social distancing. So make sure that you're setting up whatever you can in the safest, most effective way. It's hard to meet in person sometimes these days, and so we have to Zoom, sort of like we are now, or maybe we have to conference call in some other way. But it's important, whatever method you're using, to set up the relationship in the best way that you can do it, using as many resources from your school. If your faculty aren't supporting or aren't able to help with the mentoring program, see who can. It might be a good time to put in a student and student mentoring program if you need one, and to try to include that in your nursing student organization service projects. That's another really good way to do that, so that they can help each other out, not give each other the answers to the test, but to help each other know how to deal with the way of life that is nursing school. Let's do a little bit of case study and program development on our own here. This will be very easy to do, and we're going to incorporate some of the things that I've said on previous slides. When you think about all the things that are important, who all will want to be involved in, or at least know about the outcomes of your mentoring program. So let's look at this one very quick case. Please forgive me for reading it to you, but that's probably the best way to make sure that we all see it. Here we go. We have a medium-sized liberal arts Hispanic-serving institution with a nursing program, and it wants to establish a mentoring program for the BSN, pre-licensure BSN students. The institution has an active alumni partnership board and multiple student success initiatives, including a TRIO program. The Hispanic-serving institution is located in an area, a large metropolitan area, in fact, with vast healthcare resources. I cannot say that strongly enough. There are multiple nursing schools, multiple medical schools, schools of public health, and other medical professional schools in the area. And there are many opportunities for clinical placements. So how can the person wanting to develop a mentoring program here, what sort of things can be implemented in that mentoring program to make it effective? What sort of processes should be put in place, and what outcomes should be measured? What's important with that? And I'm hoping that we'll get to talk about that at a later time. Thank you very much for your attention.